Yeah. Damage control, thought they had it locked. Told her sister wasn't breathing. Whole city took the shot. 1990 something.
Manhattan sundown.
Sadie with the third eye, homie. Get down. Get down.
Step to me sideways, I'm inside your head, fool. Ride your body like a Chevy.
I told you that one of these days we would talk about Brand New Day, Spider-Man Brand New Day, and damn it, today we're doing it. I was going to talk about it some when, you know what, this is... That's a better frame. Okay. We'll just start again. All right. I told you eventually we would talk about Spider-Man Brand New Day. I know it's been out for a few weeks now. I saw it on opening day, and I thought it was brilliant. I really, really liked it. I thought it's the best Marvel movie that I'd seen in years. I said that in my review on Forbes. And I've thought about it a lot since. At the time, and I wanted to talk about this when I talked about the Odyssey, but I really ran out of time in that video, which ended up being like 35 minutes of me rambling about the Odyssey, and I couldn't really fit in Brand New Day stuff. But there's some shared DNA, and not just in the cast. Obviously, John Bernthal is in both films. Tom Holland is in both films, and Zendaya is in both films. So there's three actors who are in two of the biggest movies Brand New Day is like one of the biggest movies ever made. It's just been a huge success at the box office. It endgamed the shit out of Endgame. It made like $70 million trillion billion dollars. That's just science and economics. And of course, the Odyssey did really, really well. A lot of people wanted it to fail. I was not one of them. I liked the Odyssey quite a bit, and I'm glad it succeeded. I'm not like a huge like Christopher Nolan fanboy, but I do like his movies, and I think a lot of the stuff about him like going woke and stuff and doing it for the Oscars, I think was bullshit. But anyways, the other reason I wanted to mention both movies together is that they have a very similar plot. Okay, so in the Odyssey, you have Odysseus, who's gone off from Ithaca. He's gone to this war against the Trojans. He has made a sacrifice of some sort and then has to find his way home. He has lost everyone he loves. He has to get back to the woman he loves. And it's this Odyssey of his return. And in Spider-Man Brand New Day, it's very, very similar, right? In the previous film, Peter Parker makes a sacrifice to save the world, and that sacrifice is giving up his identity, right? He becomes essentially nobody. Very similar to our friend Odysseus, right? Who is also nobody. And he loses everyone he loves. And in this movie, he's trying to find a way back to them. So it is, in a lot of ways, the same story. It is Peter Parker's Odyssey. He's trying to get back to the people he loves. And what's so interesting is that he does sort of, he first becomes known to MJ, but there's no real connection there anymore. And what I think really made the movie for me, what made it so wonderful for me personally, was the very, very end and that handshake with his friend Ned. And in that moment, Ned has been obsessing over Spider-Man, and he doesn't really know why. And he's sure that he knows Spider-Man because Spider-Man saved him and MJ all these times, and he can't really quite figure out why he would do that. So he's kind of obsessed, but there's a deeper, I think there's a deeper reason why he's obsessed, because deep down beyond that spell, he remembers. And it's not until that moment at the end where that recognition dawns on him and he says, oh, Peter. Like, he realizes that Peter is Spider-Man and that Spider-Man is Peter, and that his friendship in that moment, although they don't expound upon it, that friendship breaks the spell. Right? Now, usually in a fairy tale, it's the love's first kiss or true, that breaks the spell. The true love overcomes all odds. True love. Now I'm thinking of that scene from Princess Bride. To Blythe. Anyways, the scene in question, though, when Ned realizes who Peter is, who Spider-Man is, what their friendship is that it really, really reminded me of a scene from Hook, which is one of my very favorite movies of all time. That's a Robin Williams, Peter Pan movie, right? Steven Spielberg movie from the 90s, like early 90s. I'm like, was that an 80s movie? No, that was a 90s movie. In Hook, Peter Pan has grown up. He has gone and started a family, and he's forgotten that he's Peter Pan. But Hook comes and kidnaps his children and takes them back to Never Never Land. And Peter goes to rescue them. Still totally disbelieving Tinkerbell, that who claims that he's Peter Pan. Like, he's not Peter Pan. He's a guy in finance. He's a pirate. He goes and finds his kids, but they've been captured by Hook, and he can't do anything about it. So he ends up with the Lost Boys, and the Lost Boys, led by Rufio, want nothing to do with him at first. They taunt him. They think he's a pirate. He's a grown-up. All grown-ups are pirates for the Lost Boys, right? But Tinkerbell wants them to give him a chance, and so they do. And there's many shenanigans, and there's much, wild and funny stuff that happens. But eventually, Rufio draws a line in the sand, and a little boy comes out, this cute little black boy, and he comes out, and he goes up to Peter, up to Robin Williams, and he grabs his face, and he squeezes its face, and he's looking at him really closely, and he makes him smile. Makes him smile, and he says, "Oh, there you are, Peter." And at that moment, all the other boys come over and they start looking at him, and they all start to recognize who he is, even though he's all grown up, even though he forgot who he was. And it's sort of an interesting inversion, because in this, everyone forgot who Peter Parker was, but in Hook, Peter forgot who he was. But there's a similarity, and it really hit me in the nostalgias. Hit me right there, right in the nostalgias. A good kick to the nostalgias really gets you going in the morning. So I don't know, that moment, like, for me, really made the movie. And I just, between that and thinking about the Odyssey and how it was similar to that and how it was similar to Hook and all these things, it really just, I walked out of that movie feeling very, very happy. Like, oh, this is old school Marvel. This is kind of superhero movie I want to see. And beyond that, like, it was grounded. It wasn't like the world was going to end. So many of these superhero movies, the stakes are always the same. Somebody's going to destroy the world, and the heroes have to stop them. And of course, when the stakes are the world, typically, not always, but typically, you're not that worried about it, because of course the heroes are going to save the world. It's movies like The Dark Knight where the hero has to either choose to save the girl or save the strangers on a boat, that the stakes become dramatic and the tension becomes real, because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know who the hero will save. He can't save everybody. And I liked John Bernthal in this. I thought, his PG-13 version of The Punisher was very funny. The chemistry between Tom Holland and John Bernthal, Peter Parker, and the Punisher was great. And all this stuff with the Hulk, like when he comes in shooting at the Hulk, and it's just a lot of really funny gags with those characters, and I really appreciated all of that. And I appreciated that it was like a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man movie, rather than like the big, the bigger Avengers stuff or the multiverse stuff, which No Way Home was a good movie. I liked the three Peter, or the three Spider-Man, three Peter gimmick, but it was gimmicky, and the multiverse shit really was. I'm pretty much in my last legs with the multiverse. Like, anything multiversal comes up, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm out. Like, all that the multiverse has become is an excuse to bring back dead characters and to create false stakes that can always be reversed, and I hate that. It just drives me crazy. The concept of a multiverse is really interesting, and I think it can be done in an interesting and compelling way that has rules. But really, it has to have rules. It's like a good magic system. Ask Brandon Sanderson. It has to have rules, or it becomes just anything goes, and you stop caring. And that's what happened, with a lot of the multiverse stuff in the MCU, or like alternate Earth stuff in DC, and you can bring back any character because they were on the alternate Earth or whatever. So there was a lot of things I loved about it, and there was one thing that I didn't really love at all. And I thought Jean Grey, so spoilers, Jean Grey's in this. It's an X-Men crossover. Sadie Sink plays Jean Grey. She's from Stranger Things, and she's a great actress, and I think she does a great job in this film. But I was just reading this interview at Hollywood Reporter, and actually I'm looking at the IGN summary of this interview. But one of the writers, Eric Summers, said, well, before I get to what he said, you've probably seen this movie, but we'll go over it real quick. But Jean Grey is a mutant. She has telekinetic and telepathic powers, and she can control people. There's this old movie with Denzel Washington called Fallen. And in that movie, there's a devil that possesses people, and he can hop from person to person. And this movie really reminded me of that film, which you should watch. It was a pretty good movie, or at least I thought it was when I was like 20 or whenever, 18. I don't know. Whenever that came out, late 90s, I was probably 18 or 19 when I saw that. But it made me think of that movie. That movie stuck with me because it was a pretty terrifying concept of this possession that wouldn't just stay in one person. It could hop person to person to person. Anybody could be the devil. And that's kind of Jean Grey in this. She's kind of a devil. She's possessing people, and she's causing a lot of destruction. And if not killing people, she's certainly hurting people. And there's one scene in particular where she possesses MJ, and she pretends to recognize who Peter is, and she pretends that she's actually MJ, and that she's like, that it's all coming back to her, and they kiss. And it's this moment like this, it's love's true kiss, right? Saving, breaking the curse, right? But it's not, it's a head fake, and it's a pretty great head fake, honestly. As far as movies go, like when it was revealed in my theater that this was not actually MJ and that she had been possessed, like there were audible groans throughout the theater. I was like, oh, damn, that's cold. And it is cold. It's really, really, really fucking evil, honestly. It reminded me to a lesser degree of Wonder Woman 1984, because she basically wishes back into existence Chris Pine's character in that, but puts him in somebody else's, his like soul into somebody else's body, and then they have a lot of sex, which at the time I thought, this is weird, like this is creepy. Why didn't she just wish him back? Like, why couldn't he just have come back in his own body? Like, it's a wish. Like, why couldn't, now you're using somebody else's body without any consent. I mean, that's pretty rapey, right? And this is pretty, and having MJ in this, in this act, with Peter using her body and tricking Peter, like there's a lot of bad, like that's a fucked up thing to do. Like there are some definite like consent issues, and it's very manipulative, and it's cruel. It's deeply cruel. And so Jean Grey in general throughout this movie is extremely cruel and vicious and Machiavellian. She the ends justify the means for her completely. And she's operating on, we learn, a quest to save her sister. So you can argue over whether or not her actions are justified. You can argue that, right? But it's interesting also because in the end, she learns that her sister is dead. But this is also the moment when she sort of comes around because Peter helps her, and then she helps Peter. There's kind of two ways this kind of story often goes. Like either someone's sister, lover, child, parent is killed, and then they go get revenge. Or one of those people is taken and they go to try to rescue them. So one is a grief and revenge motivated plot. One is a hope and rescue motivated plot, like Taken or something. And they bring up different sort of ethical and moral questions, right? Like, if you're trying to rescue somebody and you think that they might be killed or something, then maybe you are justified in being cruel and manipulative and using people and throwing people under buses, literally, quite literally, and causing massive destruction because you're trying to save somebody. This would be the case for someone like Joel in The Last of Us, rescuing Ellie from the Fireflies, which is something that I've always been a supporter of. I think he was right to save her because I think they were deeply, deeply wrong to kill her for an experiment to try to save the world. I personally don't think that it's that trolley car question, one of the best answers to the trolley car question came in the show Widow's Bay recently, which I still want to talk about more, but a character answers that question, the trolley car. The trolley car, like theoretical or whatever, is saying that there's a trolley car coming down a track and it's going to hit like 20 people and kill all of them. And you can pull a lever and the trolley car will go off on this other track and it will just kill one person. So do you pull the lever? And the character in Widow's Bay says, no, they wouldn't pull the lever because life is the trolley car. Like life, this is just the things that happen in life. It's inevitable. Bad shit happens. But pulling the lever makes that you are doing it now. You are killing this person through your action. And I thought that was a really, and of course in the show, it's all phrased much better than my paraphrasing it here. But I thought that was a really great answer to this moral dilemma. But there was a lot of kind of moral gray area around Jean Grey's actions. And the writers kind of brushed this off a little bit. I think technically she's not responsible for any deaths, Eric Summers told The Hollywood Reporter. But you come away with the impression, certainly, that she's caused a lot of destruction and mayhem. Okay, so he's hedging a lot, right? That's a lot of throat clearing. Like, oh, technically she didn't kill anybody. I mean, maybe like she broke this building into pieces and the rubble killed people. So I don't love that they're hedging so much with this answer, but they go on. Even if you're going, let's see. Summers argued that a villainous character that has a redemptive arc needs to feel formidable to be believable enough. Even if you're going to have a villain who really is redeemed at the end or goes through a transformation, you have to start them off in a place where they feel formidable, Summers said. If it doesn't feel like this is going to be someone who's a challenge to our hero physically, emotionally, mentally, then you don't really buy it. Now, let's see. What we were really excited about was this villain got to be a mystery for so long in the movie, Summers' fellow co-writer Chris McKenna added. We were in Peter's shoes. We were not putting the audience ahead of him, so he was reacting to everything, and we were with him reacting. I agree with a lot of that. Like, I do think that if you're going to have like a villain to hero or like a redemptive arc for maybe an anti-hero or a character who seems to be a villain but is actually on a righteous path but maybe making poor choices, I do think that making them formidable, mysterious, all those things are absolutely true. And I think the movie did a good job with that. And I think the problem with this movie is that once we got to that point where there had to be some kind of reckoning, there was no reckoning. Like, Jean Grey doesn't really have a moment where she's presented with a hard choice, like between her saving her sister, for instance, or, there's no trolley car for her. There's no real acknowledgement that she's done all these horrible things. There's just a lot of stuff left dangling there with her character. And maybe this is going to be wrapped up, or I shouldn't say wrapped up, but addressed, dealt with, whatever, in another movie. But it did sort of feel like maybe we needed a little bit more time with Jean Grey and Peter Parker. Maybe we needed a little bit more time to sort of get in touch with what exactly went on with her character. Because ultimately, it's not about the body count. It's not about how many people she killed necessarily. It's about, what she was willing to do, including that MJ scene, in order to save her sister, and ultimately didn't save her sister, and maybe that's irrelevant. Maybe whether or not she saved her sister wouldn't really change the moral questions that this raises. But the movie doesn't address those questions. It doesn't really bring any sort of recognition to Jean Grey's actions Jean Grey doesn't really get a moment herself other than to save Peter, which could be interpreted as just like getting him back for helping her. But there's just not really that moment for that character that needs to happen in a satisfying narrative arc for that kind of villain. They talk about redemption, and there just really isn't any. Not much, not enough. It doesn't quite land. Whereas Ned gets this moment of recognition that is very powerful. At least for me, it was very powerful. And I loved that they let's see, subverted expectations. A lot of people, they hear the phrase subverted expectations and they think about all these like terrible ways that modern cinema has betrayed audiences and fans. But I think that this movie subverted the expectation of the love's true kiss. They subverted the expectation of like Peter would find MJ and their true love would awaken her feelings for him. And they made a movie about friendship. And I think that's really cool and it's really rare. Like I am a grumpy old bastard. I admit, and I'm jaded because I've been married and divorced. And my second major relationship was as long as a marriage and basically a divorce. And they cost me. And so I'm jaded and I'm cynical. But the reality is that I just get tired of like everything revolving around romance. Like in video games, like I don't need every RPG to have romance options for me. Like I would much rather have RPGs with like better friendship storylines, like different kinds of friendships, different kinds of love beyond romantic love. There are other kinds, right? Agape. There's you know, I'm not going to get into all the different kinds of love because I'm going to forget what they're all called. But the point is, it's refreshing. This movie was refreshing on many levels. It wasn't a world at stake, you know, it's going to get destroyed and only Spider-Man can save it. It wasn't really tied to the Avengers in a big way. It was very sort of friendly neighborhood Spider-Man in a lot of ways. It wasn't gimmicky. There was no multiverse. It was well written. It was funny. It was endearing. It subverted expectations in a good way rather than a bad way. I just think that this arc with this character, Jean Grey, who's an interesting character, and I love the X-Men, and I'm excited for the new X-Men and everything. I just think that they kind of dropped the ball on it. And then, you know, movies don't have to be perfect, and it's fine. And I recommend this movie for everyone to go see anyways, regardless. I think it was a really big, like major return to form for the MCU and for Spider-Man. And I think Tom Holland, even though he's gotten quite a lot older, still seems like he's got such a baby face. I think he still really pulls off Peter Parker really well. And as an older, more like kind of run down Peter Parker here, I think it worked quite well. I think that's all. I swear I had one other thing. Let me see. Let me check my notes. Oh, yeah. So some fans have defended the whole like Jean Grey stuff, her actions and whatnot, by pointing out that like Yelena, the new Black Widow, and Frank, the Punisher, have stacked up quite impressive body counts. They kill people all the time. They don't bat an eye about it. And yeah, that's fine. But we're not really like dealing with Frank or Yelena's moral dilemmas or moral space, interior space in this film. So it doesn't matter. We dealt with some of that in the Thundercats movie. The Thundercats live action movie. That's coming. Just wait. No, but we, you know, Yelena has been explored in many films now, and her whole, you know, Black Widow stuff has been done. I like Yelena personally. I know a lot of people really can't stand her, but I think she's funny and fine and whatever. But I think this is irrelevant. You know, lots of superheroes are killers, and then there are plenty who are not. And I think Jean Grey she is like, this is like her origin story here, right, in this film. So it's an interesting question for her specifically in the context of this film. And the film doesn't really give us much to go with as we leave the theater. And maybe that's fine. Maybe it's coming in the next movie down the road with the X-Men, where she will grapple with her actions and maybe have some regret or remorse over what she's done. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. Let me know what you think about all this, what you thought of Brand New Day, whether or not you're looking forward to, upcoming superhero movies like Clayface over on the DC side and Avengers Doomsday over on the Marvel side. And maybe there'll be a dark horse somewhere to surprise us all. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Peace.
Damage control. Thought they had it locked. Told the sister wasn't breathing. Whole city took the shot. 1990 something Manhattan sundown. Sadie with the third eye, homie. Get down.
Step to me sideways, I'm inside your head, fool. Ride your body like a Chevy, make you break your own rules. 33 feet, that's my radius, you know the range. Hop out your homeboy, hop in your brain, it's strange.
They say I ain't kill nobody. Technically that's true, man. Walked into a bus, but that was him, not me, boo. Writers got my back like a lawyer on retainer. No confirmed death, said the press, I'm an entertainer. Spider swinging in, red and blue, trying to preach, talking about responsibility. Homie, stay in your reach. I wore your girl's face on that roof and let you cry. Pull the mask up slow, watch the hope die in your eye. That's cold, that's ice.
That's a mind on the throne.
Ain't a selling damage control.
Gon' hold me alone.
They call me Phoenix and the bird, don't apologize. Burn the whole block down.
And rise.
West side, mutant, 1990, forever. Technically innocent.
Technically